Flooding on the Alouette River in Maple Ridge, past, present, and future. Are they inevitable, or can we plan to prevent them?
BC Hydro's water storage license stands without challenge by the provincial government or municipalities to this day.
Water overflowed the banks of the Alouette River. Water from rain, runoff from the local hillside, and bulging tributaries like Millionaire Creek on Fern Crescent, en route to Golden Ears Provincial Park.
Most dams, including the Alouette Dam, store a large amount of water, which pose a risk to anyone on the floodplain in the event of a dam failure.
Their current operating agreement, they do not consider floods as a big priority for them. So when they release water, they're releasing dollars in their mind.
Part of the problem is Hydro sending information to the city, but it's not like you couldn't see this one coming a bit of a ways off.
Until you come down here and see what it's done, you don't really get a good understanding on what's going on down here.
A very real risk will continue to people on the Alouette Valley floor unless BC Hydro changes their water management in the Alouette Reservoir. The risk of total dam failure, the risk nobody wants to address.
They're surprised by the difficulty in getting answers that they need answers for right away. Communication seems to be in need of an upgrade.
I was told early on in the 1960s, when I became an employee of BC Hydro, that the dam was not there for flood control or fishery interests. I felt that was an extreme interpretation, but in noting the water licenses held by BC Hydro, it was true. There was nothing in there for those concerns. Flooding we experienced in the Alouette River in 2021 is not unique. It's brought about because the reservoir behind the dam has a limited capacity to hold these storms that come across from the Pacific. Some of the snow melt off the mountains, suddenly flash down in there. The only way this water can be held behind the dam is there has to be a sufficient hole in the reservoir to start with. It's called freeboard. And that hole is brought about by the fact that we can divert water from the Alouette into the Stave. But there's a limited amount that we can divert. And that is the issue that we tried to address in 1996, and that is how much space, what was the level of the reservoir that would contain these storms, and when should the diversion valve or control for the tunnel be opened to see that there was a full flow going out of the Alouette over towards the Stave to maintain that hole. After modeling it with computers, we found that at 122.6 meters in elevation above sea level, if the tunnel flows were open fully, that we could change the flood return period in the river dramatically. We could change it by a 1 in 12 year average return period to a 1 in 35 or 36 years, and that's considerable. That was a 300% change. But back in 1996, we didn't, at least at the local level, know about climatic warming and the changes that were going to come. So consequently, what we did then is out of date now. And it's been out of date for a considerable number of years. And ARMS and others have asked for this to be looked at, and there was a commitment that it would be looked at by the Water Rights Branch in 2014, 2017 it was moved to, then 2019, then 2021. And here we are now in 2022, and it still hasn't been done. This is a critical issue that the province, BC Hydro, has to come together and say, get on with it. Get this done. Get this study carried out. We've just had a flood in 2021 coming down the Alouette River. You know, that's a wake-up call. We've got issues. Next year could be worse. And there is still no commitment to sit down in a room, get the engineers together, get the modeling done, and look at this outdated report and find how we're going to control this reservoir above the dam. This is not there just for hydroelectric energy. This is there and was agreed to in 1996 as a flood control device as well. And right now, we're not using it in the way we could. We're not getting ahead of the curve. These storms are coming in. Their radar has seen them coming across the Pacific. We have the benefit of the latest technology, and we're not using it. And consequently, if I could leave one message in this video that's been done, and that is, get on with the job. We all know what has to be done. Do it.
It's time for people who live beneath Alouette Dam to know more about risks associated with living on a floodplain downstream from a dam. Too much water carries risk.